Welcome to another segment of Focus on Health. Now, I always do a teaser. I have never had an organization like this here on the show. Nope. I just checked my brain and it never had. So I'll tell you what type of a show it is on the other side of this commercial. Welcome to Focus on Health. Well, if you haven't guessed, I have never done a program where of home health or individuals going into the home to take care of individuals who are maybe senior citizen or someone disabled. This is my first one. And the organization is Visiting Angels. And to my right, I have Mr. Matt Johnson, who's going to, Matt, tell me a little bit about yourself. Look into that camera right there, that's your camera, and let the folks know a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with Visiting Angels.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you for blessing us with the opportunity, Pop. I'm Matt Johnson, one of the owners of Visiting Angels here in Columbus. I'm originally from Kentucky, so certainly enjoying the warm weather down in Georgia. No cold and ice so far, so hopefully I don't jinx it. But I got into home care about 10 or 12 years ago. And obviously it impacts us all in different ways. Me personally, I have an 89-year-old grandmother at home in Kentucky. Grandfather's 95. My father has end-stage Parkinson's. So home care is a great opportunity. It's a way of doing God's work, I think, especially supporting our loved ones who may not be able to take care of themselves. And so it's really a passionate thing that I take a lot of pride in, and it's been really great so far.
And Matt, let me tell you, in our conversations, that's one of the things when I brought my friend in to you, because I was going around to a lot of organizations, I could tell your genuine concern and just hearing what you were saying about your father. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, you got good genes because who's 95?
Mm-hmm. My grandfather.
Your grandfather,
yes.
How old is your grandmother?
89.
Boy, you got good genes, and that bodes well for you, brother. Let me just tell you. Okay, let's go to the first slide, please. The next one, please. All right, reading this, it says, Visiting Angels is a national home care franchise that's been in business since 1998. You all have 600 locations, and even locations in England, Mexico, South Korea, and Australia. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of locations there that provide care. So the point is that you are a well-established organization.
Yes, sir. And so again, we take a lot of pride in the care we provide. And so again, that just goes to show you 600 locations. We're here in Columbus. The closest surrounding us is Griffin, Warner Robins, and also in Auburn. So it's been time tested since 1998. So many families have been, taken under our care. And so that we take a lot of pride in that.
Good. And because I didn't have you do it, look in there and just let them know how to reach you, where you're located at.
Yes.
And your phone number.
Pop and I joked about this. So we're on 1501 13th Street in Suite G. We are actually kind of tucked away in the Georgia Department of Revenue office complex, Hamilton Relay. But if you know where Red Lobster is at, we're right there. You can also reach us at 706-914-3960. And also you can visit us on our website, visitingangels.com/Columbus, Georgia.
Great. Next slide, please. Now, here's a question that I know is going to be, and I know people ask, what is home care versus skilled nursing or home health?
And it's ironic, I've shared with Pop, I've got this question so many times just within this week. So home care, specifically with Visiting Angels, is non-medical. So this is a service providing to a loved one who may have had a recent hospitalization, may have gone to a rehab facility, or may just be at home. So again, we use the term aging in place. So we want to provide services to keep the loved one at home, independent as long as possible. And with Visiting Angels, those services are provided through personal care and companionship. Versus home health, that is a skilled service, traditionally with an RN, a registered nurse, a therapist, occupational therapist, and sometimes a home health aide. Those are typically ordered by a physician. Again, much similar, someone has faced the decline at a hospital and may need some therapy to rehab to maybe get them back to a level where they can stay independent, continue to drive, continue to walk, ambulate, much as they were before they had their recent decline or their hospitalization.
Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, now just read off some of the things that that are provided through home care.
Yes, and so again, going back to home care, these are the essentials. So we're focused on ADLs, the activities of daily living. So that includes helping a loved one get dressed, putting clothes on, helping them with their grooming, showering, taking a bath, keeping their hygienes, keeping them clean, helping them go into the restroom, the toileting. If they have periods of incontinence where they can't control their bowels or
Right.
bladder, it's also providing that type of care. Mobility, so if they need transfers from the bed to the chair to the toilet, or chair to the couch. Also with medication reminders. Hey, Mr. Johnson, it's 1 o'clock. Have you taken this medication today?
That's
so just
right.
A
That's
friendly
right.
reminder.
Right.
And also meal preparation, cooking. Some family members have faced a decline, whether it's heart, COPD, where they can no longer do simple things, simple tasks like that. Light housekeeping, vacuuming, cleaning, and also a big part, if they lost the ability to walk, ambulate, our caregivers can actually provide transportation to run errands, doctor's appointments, going to the bank, grocery
Right.
stores.
All right. Now let's talk about how a person would pay for these services here.
Another great question, and again, the deciding factor between home care and home health. So home care traditionally is self-pay from the family, so private pay, long-term care insurance, and we have also partnered with a vendor to help veterans apply for their aid and attendance pension, which would provide home care funds to have those services. Whereas home health is a skilled, providing.
Skill care like an RN or physical therapy or something of that nature.
Yes, and that's traditionally provided through Medicare, Medicaid, if they meet eligibility, private insurances, TRICARE. So that is usually covered 100% through home health.
Through home health, that's covered pretty much 100%.
Yes.
All righty. The hours of, what I'm reading, it says better rates for visiting angel, no deposit, no contract, no minimal hours. That's interesting.
Yes, sir.
That is really interesting. Or either 24/7, 365 days. I like the fact because when I came to you with a friend, you were able to start that very same day.
Yes. So it's our preference. We can start same day, not to put pressure on the family. We have the ability to staff care within 3 hours, at the latest 24 hours.
And that was my concern when I came, because I really needed to have someone with him. And you told me, you said, Mr. Barnes, we will have somebody there. You called me, and let me tell you what I like. I like the fact that you call a person back within 15 minutes.
That's just easy
That
stuff
i-
for us.
But that impressed me because I was really concerned about you having somebody there for him. So I really, really, really enjoyed that. Okay, this is an area, next slide please, that we're going to take a little bit of time on. VA aid and attendance. I am going to read it, and then I'm going to have you take the time to explain it to me. It says veterans and survivors who are eligible for a VA pension and require the aid and attendance of another person or are housebound may be eligible for additional monetary payment. These benefits are paid in addition to the person's monthly pension, and they are not paid without eligibility to pension. So one of the guiding things is that the person has to have a pension. Now it also says, and then we're going to dismiss with the slide, you and I are going to talk, since aid and attendance and household allowances increase the pension amount, people who are not eligible for a basic pension due to excessive income may be eligible for pension at these increased rates. And a veteran or surviving spouse may not receive aid and attendance benefits and housebound benefits at the same time. So what I like about this here, what caught my attention, Matt, was the veterans, the Vet Assist. I had not really heard anything about Vet Assist at all until you mentioned it to me. And the one thing that I like about it is that they factor in, say if the way I read that, if I'm on a pension, I'm receiving a pension now, and say I am making more than the guidelines, what they will do, they will factor in what medical benefits that's coming out of my pocket. And so that overall will reduce the amount of usable money I have. And that in and of itself will make me eligible for the program.
Correct. And so that's a factor a lot of veterans, family members may not know about. So in this example Pop is using, so let's say my income is $50,000, but I'm not counting my medical expenses that are coming out of pocket, home care, prescription costs, anything that has related to medical. So let's just say for this example, I make $50,000 a year, but I'm spending $30,000 in medical expenses. So that deducts into my income, and so my countable income is $20,000, and so that falls within the VA's guidelines for meeting criteria for aid and attendance.
I think that's awesome. And that just goes to show you that it's veteran friendly. And I really appreciate you, because I didn't even know anything about this program at all.
It's amazing, and when Pop came into my office, as well as so many other family members had contacted me, just population-wise, Columbus 194,000, but veteran-wise, a little bit more than 10%, about 20,000. Veterans just in Columbus, not even talking about Phoenix City or the surrounding areas.
That's exactly right.
So there's a ton of veterans that don't know anything about the home, the aid and attendance benefit, and so that's our duty to try to get this information out.
So now let me pose another question to you. Suppose initially I don't qualify, but then as my, if I appeal that and they take a second look and they see that I am struggling because I have not accounted for all of my medical benefits, and that happens with people. Sometimes they leave out things that they're paying. Will retroactively that person get that money?
Yes. So there's a couple examples. Whether if it's a financial or medical decline, we can always appeal for that benefit. But also I shared with Pop just an example of a family member who may be at this point in time already paying for home care out of pocket. And again, they may not even know about aid and attendance. So it's the Veterans Affairs will actually retroactively go back a year to pay that veteran who's coming out of pocket for home care. If maybe in that time they weren't eligible and now they're eligible due to a recent hospitalization or maybe financially. There are some stipulations financially. VA is kind of similar to the Medicaid look back. They will look back 3 years on their finances, whereas Medicaid looks back 5 years, just to see if they meet that financial criteria.
Well, so you're educating me again. Would you repeat that? Because you're telling me, you're a wealth of information now. Let me just tell you, man. Repeat that for me so I can understand. I think that's awesome that they do. Could you repeat that again for me?
Certainly. And all this information we're sharing is obviously off the Veterans Department of Affairs. So Medicaid will look back 5 years at a loved one's family's income to see if they meet Medicaid criteria. For aid and attendance for the military, service member, veteran, they will look back at a period of 3 years.
I got you.
To see if they meet that financial criteria.
Good. You give me some good information, Matt. We're going to go to the next slide, please. How to apply. And I'm going to read it, Matt. It says, you may apply for aid and attendance or household benefits by writing to the Pension Management Center, PMC, that serves your state. You may also visit your local regional benefit office to file your request. You can locate your local regional benefit office using the VA facility locator. That's awesome. That I didn't know. So I guess that would be up over on 3rd Avenue where I went at with my friend.
Yes,
that
sir.
would be the nearest military place. Well, right there on 3rd Avenue down from the water company.
Correct.
To find out, to actually apply. And what are the things that there were some specific things that you told me to pick up for that veteran?
So there are some specifics to keep it very simple. So to simplify it, the 3 M's they're going to look at. So they're going to look at the military. So they're looking at wartime period served. That includes World War II, which is December 7th, 1941 through December 31st, 1946. The Korean War, which is June 27th, 1950 through January 31st, 1955. And then the Vietnam, so August 5th, 1964 through May 7th, 1975. And also the Gulf War, August 2nd, 1990, and that's still ongoing, so it's undetermined. So that's the first in the military. They have to serve during a wartime period. The second is medical, having a physician designate that this veteran can benefit from home care, which basically limits them 60% home care or homebound status, meaning that they cannot drive. So they're almost confined to their home more than 60%. And the third is the money. So again, going back to the financial, the money status, The veteran in total has to have less than $123,600 in assets. So those assets are just looking at what's in investments, checking, savings, CDs, IRAs. That does not include the house or any cars. It's just looking at what's the investments, checking, savings. They have bonds, those investments.
Because Matt just mentioned this, and I'm going to read it over. It says military. The veteran must have served at least 90 days active duty in the military with at least 1 day during wartime. Does that mean, because a lot of these veterans are going to ask me, does that mean that they have to come over or during the wartime period?
That period.
During that period. That's very, very, very important for individuals to know. The second thing, medical. The veteran must be at least 60% housebound, which means pretty much no longer driving. This will need to be certified by a licensed physician on the VA form, what is that, 21-2680?
Yes, sir.
Which they can get from the physician, or do you all give that?
We also have that form to assist.
Good. And then money. The veteran, let me get back to that slide. Let me see where I'm at. When it comes to, say, money, that they must now have what now?
The veteran has to have less than $123,600 in total assets. So again, going back, that's just looking at checking, savings, CDs, IRAs, not their house or cars, vehicles.
Okay. Okay, so now, what would I need to bring to you? I think I had to go get 3 months of bank statements for him. I had to also get a letter of, what's it called, from the Social Security, how much she's making. And there was something, and it's DD-214.
Correct.
Basically, those are the 3 important documents.
Those are the core pieces. So that is for the veteran. Again, the Social Security award letter, the 1099, which is their pension statement, going back to the medical form from the physician. It cannot be completed by a nurse practitioner. It has to be from a physician. Again, we can assist getting their DD-214. So if you have it, it's great. If not, understand, because it can get lost in a pile of all those military.
Right, which normally does happen, which normally happens.
So again, going back and looking at those last 3 months of the banking statements, if they have a life insurance policy, again, this is just going into their assets that they have. Again, any assets that they have in investment, CD, IRAs, those type of things. And if we're also looking at a surviving spouse, we have to have the marriage certificate. So there also is potentially an opportunity to not only give the veteran home care, but also the surviving spouse home care.
Now, does she have to be receiving what people used to call the widow's pension? She'd have to be receiving a pension as well.
As far as my understanding is, we're really just focused on the veteran, and then they kind of piggyback off the veteran.
I see.
So they're just really, at this time, looking at the marriage certificate, but I would defer that question specifically to the Veterans Department.
I got you.
If you need more.
We need more information. This is really good. And as I mentioned before, I didn't know anything about this, but Matt is the one that really informed me. And this is a super, super benefit for many other veterans who may have a lot of disabilities and really need home care or skilled nursing care. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back right on the other end of this commercial.
Man, I wish the city would fix these darn potholes. Someone needs to report this.
Has this ever happened to you and you didn't know who to call? It's simple. Dial 311 or 706-653-4000. Columbus 311 Citizen Service Center. Our goal is to provide complete, accurate, and timely information to citizens and employees regarding complaints, inquiries, and requests for information. Columbus 311 Citizen Service Center, your direct link to city service.
Welcome back to Focus on Health. And Matt, I want you to look into that camera right there, and I want you to let them know you're visiting Angels, let them know where you're located at, and all your contact information to include your phone number and online.
Gotcha. So again, I'm with Visiting Angels. I'm Matt Johnson, the owner of Visiting Angels here in Columbus. Our business partner is also in Waco, Texas. We are located on 1501 13th Street in Suite G. Located inside the Georgia Department of Revenue office complex, also Hamilton Relay. You can also give us a call at 706-914-3960. as well as my email address. It's pretty simple. It's mjohnson@visitingangels.com. And you're also more than welcome to visit us on our website, visitingangels.com/ColumbusGA.
Thank you, Matt. One of the things that I didn't, I omitted to mention, but is very, very, very important, and where you helped me out specifically, is would you tell them about the time frame? Everything, especially when you're dealing with home health or skilled nursing, it's all time element is crucial. So would you just explain to them how you helped me out?
Exactly. It's a great point by Pop. So traditionally, with all those documents that we just listed, that process we just went over, so if a family member or Pop himself had a family member and you went down to 13th Street here in Columbus to the VA department and applied for aid and attendance, the traditional time frame is anywhere 6 to 9 months, maybe possibly even a year. So if you can just think someone who is in need of care and they have to wait that long, all those things that can happen in that time frame. Whereas we have partnered with a vendor, again, getting all these, getting the veteran, getting all these documents together. Our traditional turnaround time is anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks, sometimes even shorter, if we have all that documentation, letting that veteran know if they're eligible or not for these benefits.
And I'm going to tell you from personal experience, that's really crucial when you're talking time, because you're talking about day-to-day needs of individuals. And I'm in that situation now, helping individuals, helping veterans out, and time is crucial. So if you would repeat that again, this is really a crucial element, because time is a very important factor when you're dealing with the day-to-day needs of an individual that you're taking care of.
Yeah, so just going back to the time frame, it takes for you to get all these forms, the pieces of paper together, that DD2 or DD-214 together. If you submit it to the Veterans Administration, it typically can take 6 to 9 months, sometimes a year. But with Visiting Angels, our assistants, if we have all the documentation, we have releases to actually for the medical and military, so we can actually seek a lot of those forms and get those forms. Our typical turnaround time is anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks, and even sometimes a lot shorter when we have all that documentation.
That's awesome. Now, that slide may be difficult for some individuals to see, so if you could just go through each one.
Certainly.
To explain. So we're going to take some time on this slide right here, because this slide here is very, very, very important. Okay, Matt.
So again, we wanted to take a little moment to discuss this. So this basic chart is the 2019, this is from the Veterans Administration, basic housebound aid and attendance income limits, which are effective from December 1st, 2018 until November 30th of 2019. So the VA allows applicants to deduct certain expenses and forms of income from their quote-unquote countable income. So veterans should deduct all of their unreimbursed medical-related expenses for themselves and their spouses that are greater than 5% of the maximum annual pension rate. So that's a MAPR. So for an example, it's a lot of information. So for an example, a married couple, 5% of their MAPR is $1,338. So therefore, if a couple has an annual income of $30,000 and $25,000 of that is in medical-related expenses, one would subtract that $1,300 from $25,000, which would mean that $23,000 of their medical expenses could be deducted from their income.
That's awesome.
So therefore, countable income would be $6,000 versus actual income of $30,000. So these medical-related expenses include the cost of skilled nursing, assisted living, daycare centers, and also home care. So Medicare and also other insurance premiums, as well as prescriptions not covered by insurance, should be included as a medical-related expense. So income from supplemental Social Security income and welfare benefits should not be included as countable income. So this is just a table with an explanation of benefits. So a veteran with no dependents and they're trying to get aid and attendance, the income limit is $22,577. So if a veteran with a spouse The income limit is $26,765. And if we're looking at a surviving spouse just by themselves, the death pension is $14,529.
Well, Matt, I'm going to be honest with you, just from that, from going over from the individuals that I know to include myself, I wouldn't have any problem getting it.
Yes.
When you talk about incomes, but it's very important to have an individual that you can help, that can help navigate you through all this, which he has done for this veteran that that I'm trying to help. I really appreciate your service, and in life, having individuals, whether they just need home care, aging in place, is a very important thing for a lot of seniors. All seniors want to maintain their independence as much as possible. And statistically, it is less expensive for an individual, but I'm talking about a senior, to stay in their home than to go to a nursing.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't realize that, but I've experienced that just from my nursing career and helping individuals in the community. Matt, I want you to look back in there because you have a good service. I want people to be able to get in touch with you. Would you look into that camera and let them know again how to get in touch with you?
Yes, again, I'm Matt Johnson, the owner of Visiting Angels here in Columbus, Georgia. We're located on 1501 13th Street in Suite G, tucked away in the Georgia Department of Revenue office complex at this time, right next to the Red Lobster. Also, you can give us a call at 706-914-3960. You can also email me. It's mjohnson@visitingangels.com. And you can also visit us on our website, www.visitingangels.com/ColumbusGA.
Matt, I want to tell you, I really appreciate what you have done to help me with that veteran, and I deeply appreciate the education you've given me. I never would have even known anything about Vet Assist if you have not educated me. So I want to tell you I appreciate that, and I tell you what, I always like to invite people back. If there's anything that comes up with Visiting Angel again, I sure enough would like to have you come back on the program. Until next time, I always tell people, please be good to yourself because God loves you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.